Connor,
Kylen.
important question.
Okay.
When you poop in October, is it considered a spooky dookie?
You can't spell spoopy without poop.
Hey, everyone.
And welcome to whatever this is.
Clappy, talky, kicky, drinky. The podcast where we do all four of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your host, Kylen.
And I am questioning my life choices. Connor.
First of all, by the way, this is Let's Talk About in case you haven't caught on yet, suckers. But next, what are you drinking tonight? You got like a blender bottle, bitch.
Yeah, I got a blender bottle, a purple blender bottle full of coffee Kahlua, pumpkin spice Baileys, and double espresso Pinnacle vodka.
Oh, that's festive.
And I have it in a blender bottle because, you know, it's a 20-ounce drinking container. So you assume that it would be able to hold a lot of alcohol, right?
Perhaps.
Well, the thing is, it won't if you don't have as much ingredients that you need. I ran out of cold brew, and I'm talking with my hands, even though none of you can see this. And Kylen is mimicking me, and it's making me feel bad.
No, I'm just being a punk. Please continue.
So, yeah, I'm drinking this very strong coffee. Hey, lady.
Oh, I saw that grimace. You took a sip and grimaced.
Mm-hmm. It was a lot. It was a lot to handle. What are you drinking?
I did my thing that I always do when Connor and I decide to record an episode, like, you know, the afternoon where we normally record episodes. And I'm like, shit, I don't have any alcohol. So I run to my grocery store. I pick up, a bottle of White Zinfandel. I drink the bottle of White Zinfandel. But now that that's done, I'm on an Angry Orchard hard cider.
Ooh.
My second one of the evening, in conjunction with the bottle of wine that I also had. So,
is it Orchard Angery?
Oh yeah, we in a grumpy grove, baby. We got some mad trees.
Oh, they're so mad. So this is our second spooky episode.
I know, because we've been doing this for like over a year now.
Yeah.
We get to be spoopy again.
So we could dive right into it, but why don't we talk about the games we done over the last long time, because you know we had the last couple of episodes like queued up.
Yeah, and we had a break from binge drinking. Now here we are back at it again. So like, what game do we want to start with first?
So my games have been interrupted via a significant life event. So why don't we start off with your stuff, because you just had Keep Lorelei drop or start dropping.
Yes, bitch. Oh, I'm so excited. So, for you guys who don't know, which if you like actively follow me on my socials, I feel like you would know by now because I've been plugging the shit out of this. Cape Lorelei is an Urban Shadows actual play podcast put on by Off the Table. And if you're not familiar with Urban Shadows, it is a Power by the Apocalypse type game. That's basically, if I had to describe it, it's like monster turf wars in the city. Like, you got monster factions, and it's really political and gritty and shit. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, and I play in that game with some amazing people such as Katie Face, underscore Cinder, Rev Rybread. They are fantastic people. They always bring their A game for every fucking episode. Definitely one of my favorite projects I've been in so far. Yeah, and the first 2 episodes are now available on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And yeah, no, I actually went back and like listened to the episodes, which is something I don't normally do because I don't like the sound of my own voice. But I wanted to do it because I'm like, oh, these other guys were so good and this was so much fun. I want to remember what this was like. And it's been a fun experience remembering and re-listening because it's been some time since we recorded the first few episodes. But yeah, it's been good. I know you listened to the first episode because you said something about it to me.
Yep. I've listened to the first one. The second one is sitting there in my Spotify recommended.
That's fair. That's fair. So to give you listeners a rundown, so my character, her name is Saoirse O'Connell. She's a fae, which fae in this game are not fun little happy fairy creatures. They are bitchy, mean people who hold grudges, and they never, ever forget when you slight them. They also can't lie, or else they get corruption, which is an interesting mechanic about Urban Shadows, where you want to get corruption because it gives you access to like cool powers, but at the same time you don't want to get too much corruption, or else you don't get to play your character anymore, because your character becomes a bad guy, technically. It's weird.
I'm the bad guy.
Duh. But yeah, so I of course went with a fae because that's very much my brand, and I decided to lean very heavily into those fae elements. And it's been a lot of fun. Saoirse is 100% that bitch. She is a bitch with a 5-year plan.
BICTH.
Angry. Yeah. She owns a store she owns a thrift shop, a regular thrift shop by day, and by night it is magical artifact / information store. That she has a coworker who I don't think it hasn't been explicitly mentioned in the podcast yet, but Latai listener secret. My coworker Fergus is actually just a little weird satyr dude. He's just a very short little satyr guy. But I guess he wears like long pants to cover up his hooves. Just some real fucking long pants. Yeah. And it's been really fun. We also in that game have a werewolf.
Awu.
Big time Awu. We have a werewolf. We have a tainted, which in that game constitutes as someone who has made a pact with like a demon or a devil. And they're basically their runner or whatever. They do odd jobs for their patron. And we have a veteran who is like a human, but they've been around the block. They've seen some shit. They're aware of the spooky going-ons of the city. And, God, I want to talk about it, but I also don't want to talk about it, like, too much, because I don't want to, like, spoil things, because I'm really just so excited. But, it's so good. Like I said, my cast members are amazing. Summer is just an awesome DM in general, but I think she really just shines at Urban Shadows. Also, she made us some cool custom moves. One of them, I'll say, is for when you declare in the fiction that, hey, yeah, me and this person totally boned down at one point, and then you roll to see whether or not they have like a grudge against you. You guys are cool. Because, it's Powered by the Apocalypse, baby. Sure, why not have a bone down move?
It's a game with Summer and Katie. Why not have a bone down move?
Truer words have never been spoken. And Summer wrote that move specifically for Katie, and she said, I am never going to use that fucking move. And then I think she used it in, like, episode 3, maybe. But she wasn't the first person to use it. I will say that. In fact, actually, some behind-the-scenes lore, I'm the only person who hasn't rolled the bone down move yet. But yet. I have plans. Yep, yet. I have plans. But, yeah, please check it out. Like, I normally don't, I try not to shill my shit so hard, but I'm shilling it because I think it's actually a really good thing. I'm not saying that all my other shit is like, oh, this sucks, don't listen to it, but like, there's some magic happening there, I will say. There's some magic.
So I missed my opportunity to chime in with this, but whenever you said specifically like Fae that like hold grudges and can't tell lies, I'm immediately going to like Maleficent.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's a new Maleficent movie out.
Is it already out?
It's coming out this month or next month. Like, it's coming out soon.
I'll dip. Was the first one any good? I never saw it.
The first one was pretty good, yeah. I liked it.
I just know that Angelina Jolie was in it, and like her cheekbones were just like...
Her cheekbones were doing the most.
Like, you remember that like photo of her wearing the dress that had like the leg slit and her leggy was all the way out?
I don't.
Okay, well, you'll have to, Soper Connor, find a picture and put it up of Angelina Jolie in the dress with her leggy all the way out. Yeah, her cheekbones were doing that. In Maleficent, specifically.
But yeah, I think that would be a really cool like thing to do. I hope that you're having fun doing that. Like doing.
Oh my god, yeah, I fucking love it. I'm already on my Fae bullshit completely, but like, I don't know. And it's interesting because Off the Table has done a lot of Urban Shadows.
Yes.
Up until this point, they've had like 3 seasons of their Urban Shadows show, and I think they do like maybe 2 different groups for their Urban Shadows show, which is Sanguahona is the name of it because that's the town it's set in. And so from what Summer told me, they've had 2 people who have played Fae characters in the past. But those 2 people like subverted the Fae trope, and they're like, oh, we're going to play nice, wholesome, sweet people. And she said, Kylen, you're the first person to play a mean, bitchy Fae on our show. I love it. And I'm just like, yes, I love it too. Let me live my best life. Because Saoirse just really is that bitch. I mean, she has some human qualities about her that will come out in later episodes, but right now she's just shown to be that bitch. But yeah, listen to it. It's good. All right, let's talk about one of your games now.
I have been playing on twitch.tv/IndoorAdventures for a minute. Dab, friend of the channel, Indoor, pew pew pew.
Pew pew pew. Oh fuck, we forgot the beep beep pew for Off the Table and Summer and Katie and all them. Beep 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 beep.
Friends of the channel, everybody from Off the Table. Pew 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 pew.
Okay, we caught up.
Yeah, our Monday night game, we're like fighting Winter Fae, we think. So we went to Gwen's our barbarian played by LB Hackemup.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew, pew. We went to her hometown, but like it's all like wintry, and we thought it was because hey, our Eladrin cop friend, Danae Keener of DanaeKeener.com, pew, pew, pew. We thought it was from her backstory that involves Winterfell, but nope, it's a Furbolg who has a staff, and apparently it's bad news. We're trying to figure out what's going on.
Oh no.
His name may be Plum or Fig. We haven't figured it out yet, but we're not supposed to laugh at his jokes or the jokes that his staff tells.
Didn't Indoor have a Furbolg warlock character named Fig?
Yep. This is him.
Oh, lore.
Meanwhile, my character is trying to build up Acquisitions Incorporated.
So I've heard.
But not legitimately Acquisitions Incorporated. He's trying to build his own company called Tyrant Security.
Doing what?
I mean, he's just outfitting adventurers to like be able to start their careers, and then like he's investing in adventurers and hopefully would be able to take some of their profit.
Damn, where are you getting all these capital and goods from?
I'm not. All of our quests have not given us money because they were all personal development and personal trauma.
Okay, so like this doesn't answer the question of where is this all coming from?
I mean, I'm the party's accountant, so I have all the party funds and I'm using them to invest in other people.
How did this become Arjon's like little side hustle?
Arjon's trying to do side hustles because he's not making any money.
Need fucking money. Meanwhile, in fucking Ghost of Saltmarsh, not to detour too much, we're making fucking money out the wazoo.
Let's segue into Saltmarsh. I don't have a lot to say about the Four Keys because, let's be honest, fast play isn't something that we do in that game, so not a lot has actually happened.
That's fair.
But we also did not get to play last week because of Danae Keener's wedding.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, 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 pew. Which I was actually invited to, and we had a wonderful, wonderful time. All
That's
of us.
so awesome. Congratulations to Danae
And Tyler. Yeah. They so good.
Yeah.
So Saltmarsh.
Saltmarsh. Boy, do we have to talk about Saltmarsh?
We do. So last time we left off, I think we were just about to leave. Like, no, before we left, Albus didn't have his Chul buddy.
Oh yeah, we went through a fucking dungeon crawl just so you could get a pet Chul, and we almost died so many times.
Yeah, so the winding way in the Isle of the Abbey is a little bit of a dungeon crawl. Like the entire Isle of the Abbey is full of deadly encounters.
It is punishing.
Well, my character, he was very concerned about a Chul that was living down there. Now, in our version of the Isle of the Abbey, this is a haven for the cult of Tharsden, specifically those who have been converted by an aboleth called Skothka, which is important to my character's backstory. Gothska, which is and my character Albus, an aboleth in human form, or an aboleth trapped in a human body. wanted to make sure that this Chul was safe and not, in a religious cult.
Right. Of course, as you do.
So we went down and we got a Chul at major detriment to all of our health.
Oh yeah, I think we were on single digit HP, all of us. All of us had gone down at least once, and we had like no spell slots left. We were on the struggle bus.
But we did leave and made our way back to the Acquisitions back to Saltmarsh and our Acquisitions Incorporated headquarters.
Yeah, we had a performance review with Rosie B. Stinger.
Oh my god. I don't think any of y'all were prepared for Rosie B. Stinger.
I, for one, was not prepared for Rosie B. Stinger because I think, as I've said before on this podcast, I haven't seen any Ack Inc. content. So all the Ack Inc. elements that have been thrown into the Saltmarsh game have been a pleasant surprise to me. And no surprise has been more pleasant than just the existence of Rosie B. Stinger, who I personally wasn't propositioned by. But, all of my other party members were.
I don't think Albus was propositioned by her.
I think she said something, but I don't remember what. But I know the other two were definitely propositioned.
The other two were definitely propositioned. Both you and I have been causing a lot of problems for the party.
I have not necessarily been causing any problems.
Okay. Both of us have been causing drama.
Caused onto me. It all started when I was brought back to life.
So my thing is that because Albus is an aboleth who doesn't have control of his lair actions, Chul have been spawning in the area, and people have been eating those Chul, and it hasn't been going great.
Hashtag don't eat the green lobster.
Don't eat the green lobster. So Albus with his new Chul buddy is trying to get the Chul into a safe place where they can grow and not be eaten, and also not eat people.
And if you're wondering, the party is struggling really hard to justify this.
The party is struggling really hard to not kill Albus.
We literally had a discussion of, so what do we do about Albus? And it basically was, let's not kill him for now. Because sometimes it be like that.
Then you got some Tharsden books.
I did. So before I left this island upon which I had died and had been brought back to life and had been chained, pun intended, to the service of Tharsden, I got some books from this guy who was like, hey, you'll want to read the sacred texts. So we had some downtime. So I decided I was going to read through them all. And as I got further and further through the books, my character, Jill Fan, kind of started spiraling into madness, as one does.
Spiraling hate.
Oh, that was intentional too. Because Endor, basically the way he set it up, which he talked about in an episode, Nights in the Courtyard, draw a lot of inspiration from, God, I'm going to mess up the name, Junji Ito's Uzumaki, where basically Tharsden's spiral is basically the equivalent of like the Fibonacci sequence, in which it shows up in everything in nature if you know to look for it.
Yeah.
So it started to have some weird effects around Jill. Like, for example, she threw a piece of paper into a fire. The smoke from the fire started to spiral. She casts mending on a coffee cup. Now, every time a drink is poured into it, it starts to slowly spiral in the glass. Her hair has gotten a little curlier in spirals, and now even her pupils have started to slightly spiral a little bit, or maybe not her pupils, her irises, but her eyes. So she spent her time kind of shut away, reading through these books, learning about the fall and the chaining of Tharsden, basically the existence and the breaking of chains throughout history, where to find the cruxes, they're called, to break the chains of Tharsden. And these were in these first 2 books. And the 3rd book she got was blank. And first I had to roll a wisdom save to see if I wanted to open the 3rd book right away. And she's like, no. Pass that one. I'm good. I'll read it later. So she does read it later. Opens the first page. It's blank. 2nd page, blank. Flips to the book. Flip. Gets to the middle of the book. Inky black void pages. Roll a wisdom save. At this point, I'm fucking scared. Fail wisdom save. End up in some sort of like... Have you ever watched Naruto?
I have not.
Okay, you haven't watched Naruto, but someone who's listening to the podcast has watched Naruto. So I'm going to throw this out here. Y'all know in Naruto, when Itachi did his Tsukiyomi, and basically, like, people were trapped in, like, this weird, torturous hellscape, it was basically that.
I'm sorry, who did his what?
Shit, Google it. But, yeah, so she was chained and face to face with Tharsden, who basically said, you know, you've read my story. How will you break my chains? And she's like, I can't fucking do that. What do you mean? And Tharsden was like, you have the power to break the chains. And all of a sudden, this fucking, like, iron pin shows up. And back up for a little bit. So Jill's whole thing is like she's a documancer. And even before she was a documancer, she loved contracts and shit. So her whole thing is like written word and contracts and what have you. So yeah, now she has this pen, and so she writes out, you know, I command the chains to release me or some shit like that. The chains do. So Tharsden's like, okay, so how are you gonna break my chains? And she's like, what are you even talking about? I don't know how to do that. Where do I even begin? And so she gets a vision of the town of
Nightstone.
Thank you. And how there's this big inky black obelisk in the middle of it. And all of a sudden, fucking giants come down from the sky. There are rocks and shit, take the obelisk. Which, slight lore dump, and also slight spoilers for Storm King Thunder.
It's not a spoiler for Storm King Thunder.
It's not a spoiler. That's how Storm King Thunder begins. But according to Indoor, it's never really touched upon for the rest of the module. So, like, eh. So, she sees that. And then she comes out of this fucking trance. And then in the book is written how the first chain was broken because this happened. It is heavily implied that Jill maybe, probably, kind of caused that. Oh, and she also kind of like woke up in a laughing fit because, whoo, buddy, Tharsden.
And that's where we left off.
And that's where we fucking left off. Downtime episodes. Am I right? So, I went from being probably one of the more normal members of the party to potential troublemaker number 2.
I resent that.
You're making a face.
I resent that. Albus hasn't caused any problems whatsoever.
That meme from LA Noir, press X to down. But it's all well and good. You guys haven't completely found out yet. I mean, someone detected my thoughts.
I did.
And someone else might have listened to me have a hysterical breakdown.
So here's my thing. I have to be really careful about when I detect your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
If I dig too deep into the Tharstan worship, Albus might become the thing that he's trying to hunt down.
Ooh, and wouldn't that be spicy?
No, it wouldn't.
Also, sometimes spicy can be painful spicy. It's still spicy, though.
No.
Connor's just shaking his head in disgust. Listen, this isn't what Jill wants, you know? She doesn't want to be wrapped up in Tharstan's business, but when she left the service of Umberlee, she went out of the frying pan and into the fire. And, you know, she's still trying to find a way out. She doesn't want to be like a fucking cultist fanatic.
Yet she spent 3 days reading these fucking books.
Okay. She wanted to know, like, what she was getting herself into and maybe looking for some way to, like, exploit this. But the thing is, she got fucking more than she bargained for because getting involved with Tharstan is just like a descent into madness, which she didn't know and wasn't prepared for. But here she fucking is.
I'm just saying, locking yourself away to read fantasy Mein Kampf is probably not the way that we need to go about this.
Yeah, I know. But I wanted to kind of showcase that, like, what effects would this have on a person and, like, you know, oh shit, one of your party members is a shut-in now, like, and, like, you know, the party members made, like, you guys made, like, some attempts to be like, hey, you know, you want to come outside, but, like, Jill never really took anyone up on that. I kind of wanted to showcase that kind of descent into madness. Which hopefully it's not, like, permanent. Hopefully it'll wear off once she gets out of this state she's in. Hopefully Albus won't be too mad.
Albus isn't mad, he's just disappointed.
Oh, that's even worse.
So what other games have you got going on?
I have a Last for the Appleseed going on.
You do?
We finally resolved the climactic action of that. Well, mostly resolved. Because last we left off, there was fucking corrupt auction going on. A storm wiped away half the town that was caused by the captain, who's also a bird. Secretly a bird. Bird captain. My character was shot. The person who shot her got swept out to sea. It was just a fucking bad time. So we started off with, like, my character and friend of the channel, Anarsis. His character, we walked in on the fucking conclusion of this auction where pretty much all the island was being sold to, like, the worst character in the game. Like, an NPC, total fucking bitch. Hate her guts. And, like, my character didn't really say anything because she had been, like, shot. But she was like, oh, this is some fucking bullshit, basically. But Anaris' character, who is, like, the mild-mannered, quiet, kind surgeon, went fucking off and was like, how dare you? How fucking dare you guys do this shit when half of your town has been swept out to sea? And like, not everyone here auction. God swept your town out to sea for being sinners. She went all the way off, popped off. But of course, the town, everyone was like, so we don't care, whatever. Which was such bullshit. Such bullshit. But, yeah, Dingo's character saved someone from walking out to sea. We eventually came to find out that maybe perhaps this auction thing had been rigged. We are on the cusp of discovering that mystery. And the person who we thought we saved from drowning at sea is now actually drowning in like the air because turns out she's a Selkie.
Oh no.
Which, if I remember right, are the bitches who walk out to the ocean. Because I don't remember how exactly Selkies are formed, but I think they're like normal humans at first, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh bitch, I gotta walk out into the ocean now.
I gotta put on my seal skin.
Yep. All right. See you guys later. I'm an ocean bitch now.
Barf.
But that, I think we have one more episode on this island that we're currently on, and then we're going to explore another island on this map we made so long ago. Because I know it's been a while since we talked about this, but when we first started this game, we made a map together. And basically the whole goal for this adventure right now is to return a friend of the channel, Katie Face, her character to one of the islands, which is, of course, the furthest island away, because of course it is, because adventure. Yeah. And then in the game we have a lot of emotional turmoil along the way. Like, my character is in love with the captain, but the captain's in love with the surgeon, and the surgeon's in love with the captain, but the surgeon also just quit the ship. Like, it's just a fucking mess. Katie's character is in love with just a random guy. But she's also pregnant.
Pregante.
Prego pasta sauce. It's a good game. It's good. 1800 sad sea times, baby. And hopefully we figure out this mystery. We tell Mrs. Wilson to fuck off, and we save the day. Question mark? That's it for me. I think all we have left is our home stuff.
Yeah, so right now, later today, you and I are going to continue our Masks game, which I've been having a great time with.
Oh my god, Masks is such a fun system. Another fun Powered by the Apocalypse game where you play teenage superheroes and all the drama that ensues with that. And our group is so much fun because, of course, it's, D&D with the hashtag lads. But now we're all just teenage superheroes. And it's real heckin' good and spicy and dramatic. So, quick refresher, my character's name is Juno, aka Miasma. She's the Reformed, which means she used to be a villain. She spits poison out her face.
And because it's my litmus test for every RPG system, my character is Hunter Argent, aka Aconite, which is another word for Wolfsbane. Mm-hmm. And he awoos. He is a soldier who has an alternate monstrous form of a werewolf.
Awoo.
Awoo.
Our friend of the channel, Arsqueak Pew plays Clip, who is I forgot the name of the fucking play, but the Harbinger? Yes.
Yeah.
The Harbinger.
I was going to say the Returned, but
who is a time traveler who came back in time to fix the past to save the future, who has portal powers. And other friend of the channel, Ginger Benji, pew, pew,
Pew, pew,
pew,
pew.
plays Karma Chameleon, the
Oh my god.
AKA.
Oh my god.
Are you mad because I said it's so deadpan?
No, I'm mad because I'm just putting it together.
Mine expanded.
Their name is Karma, and they had the power to go invisible like a chameleon.
Well, not entirely invisible. They can camouflage.
Like a chameleon?
You'll have to bring this up to Benny tomorrow. Be like, bitch, I just figured it out. Infinite IQ.
My infinite power.
Jaden, their power is they can camouflage. And they're the Beacon, which is a playbook I absolutely love. Is the playbook I played whenever I tested this game out in Gen Con, which is basically, they don't have the best, strongest, most prominent superpowers, but damn it, do they love being a superhero. And they want to, save the world. Be a good team player. But yeah, we had a lot of drama go down in the episode before.
Not so much drama as it is we just made a lot of shit rolls and we're consistently fucking up and getting in each other's way.
Yeah. That's true. We did have a lot of shit rolls. And of course, when you have some shit rolls and masks, some of the consequences can be, you get mad at your teammates. Or, it gets fucked up somehow. But there was some shit that came up where pretty much everyone was mad at each other for one reason or another. Like, I know, I think AQ and Benny's character both got on to my character for, like, being selfish. And then I was mad at them, and then you were...
I just like lost control of my powers, so
yeah, you lost control of powers.
I was a raging werewolf, and work dad wasn't super happy about that.
Yeah, Jaden lost control of their powers too, and like fell into like a river. It was just a mess. And then the way we, of course, the next step that Ethan, our DM, took was, oh, right, so you guys need a beach party episode, right? Where we all still fucking pissed at each other. But it actually worked out really well because we got into a game of beach volleyball with some other teenage superheroes. So we had to use our powers in creative ways to fucking rule at volleyball, which I'm happy to report we did.
We won.
Crushed it, baby.
Oh.
Oh.
But then the House of Mirrors happened.
Yeah, so then the fucking House of Mirrors happened. So my character's whole deal was I was a villain until the villain mentor I was working with, presumably fucking killed my twin brother by pushing him into like a vat of chemicals. So then my character was like, okay, bitch, I'm about to turn all the way the fuck up. I'm a good guy now, and I'm here to kick your ass. So while at the beach, we're near like this carnival pier. My character sees her twin brother, Jasper, walking into this house of mirrors. It's just like, oh, fuck, that's my brother. Gotta go. And kind of like goes off. And then Connor's character follows, and eventually everyone else's characters follow. We go to this house of mirrors, which Ethan, our evil DM, had made a custom move for, where if you don't roll high enough, going through the house of mirrors gives you some sort of condition based on some sort of narrative effect, which masks, if you're not familiar, is instead of having like any sort of like damage tracking system or HP, you basically get conditions that impair the moves you roll. If you have too many conditions, bad news bears. So yeah, I kept seeing my brother and then my evil self and all these fucking mirrors. My character who's fucking hot-headed is punching all the fucking mirrors. I think, your character your character, no, you didn't see shit. I think you just got
No,
lost.
no. So I already had the condition, like insecure. So if I saw shit, it would have taken away from that. So I took the move where I got angry.
Yeah, and you got fucking lost.
But see, I would have loved to see shit because AQ's whole thing is that like his character needs to go back and like save somebody from becoming a villain.
Yeah.
How spicy would it be if anybody besides you was that person?
Oh, I absolutely think that's the case. I don't think it's Benny's character Jaden / Karma, because one of the things that AQ / Clip established is that Karma is like a huge super in the future. So, and me would just be too predictable. So if it was you or anyone else, it would be spicy.
But no, I didn't see shit.
So, yeah, so I get to the middle of this fun house, which, can I make my second Naruto reference of the evening? Is that allowed?
I don't have a limit.
Okay, so
I mean, I'll call you a fucking weeb, but
okay, well, call me a fucking weeb then. So, Naruto fans out there, whenever Haku is doing like his ice mirror jutsu and he's showing up in all the fucking ice mirrors and all the reflections.
When who's doing his what?
Watch Naruto! So, that happened to me, except it was my twin brother in all of these. And then he's like saying shit to me, and finally I figure out he's saying, turn around. I turn around, and my fucking evil version of myself is popping out of the mirror. And that's where we fucking ended. That's where we fucking ended. So now I gotta figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do about that. Why can't I just have nice downtime episodes? That's the theme of this episode of Latai. Why can't Kylen catch a break?
So I was running another campaign, the Ion campaign, the like sort of Eberron inspired homebrew thing. We haven't done that. And we're probably not going to get back into that for an extended period.
Yeah.
But between that and doing this mask game, you, Benny, Ethan, and I played a little bit of Vampire the Masquerade. I don't remember if we talked about that.
I don't think we did. Do we want to get into this now, or do we save this for the second half?
Let's touch on like what happened now.
Okay.
So I have like the entire Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, like the big old starter set and everything, back like Kickstarter, not Kickstarter, but like back kitted the Legendary Edition to begin with, and then I never ran a game of it. Played it at Gen Con for the first time, and I'm like, hey, some of this is pretty neat. Let me try to run it. So after a 4-hour character creation session, we played 1 1/4 sessions.
We played 2. Okay, well, I guess the end of the first episode was like the end of the first session was an hour of gameplay.
Yep. So what happened during that?
Yeah, so I guess to introduce the characters, I played a Nosferatu, which in Vampire the Masquerade lore are vampires that are butt fucking ugly.
Yep.
They are cursed to just be uggo. But they're really good at being like sneaky and shit, or being like in touch with animals, or in my character's case, being really good at like internet shit. So I was the group hacker. Yeah, my name was Nora Cole. I was a former hot popular girl who was made into just an uggo, and I dealt with it by being super reclusive and getting really good at the internet. And then Ethan's character was a Malkavian, which in Vampire the Masquerade lore means you gotta deal with like weird voices in your head all the time and shit.
Malkavians are fucking crazy.
Essentially, yes. So Ethan's character was a tarot card reader who just spoke in like really vague, flowery bullshit all the time. Like, okay, I have to interpret like 3 layers of bullshit to get to what you're actually saying. But, you know, nice enough guy. And then Benny's character was a Bruja, which that clan is known for like being anarchists. They are Viva la Revolution, baby. They're all about like change, and they don't mind being a little violent to get it. So yeah, Benny was playing a hot-headed dude. That was our gang. That was our trio, our coterie, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And our whole thing was we ran a street of fantasy New Orleans.
Yep. New Devereaux.
Yep, that's what we call it, New Devereaux. And it all started when there was a fucking fire. And we found a way to put out the fire, kind of, partially, and save Ethan's character's neighbor who was living there. Found out there were some werewolves who were stealing some shit from there. Found the thing they stole. Decided, hey, we need to figure out why these werewolves are beefing on our turf. Go to the werewolf trailer park, basically. Fucking get our ass handed to us by the werewolves. Did not have a good strategy going in, which in Vampire, if you don't roll well, you roll really bad. And it's easy to roll pretty bad in Vampire.
So, well, I may not have been doing this because, like, again, I am a new GM, but in Vampire, you should be able to succeed if you roll bad, but you succeed at a cost. That cost is usually really fucking bad.
Okay. Well,
So I'm just gonna, y'all did succeed. A lot of bad shit happened, though.
A lot of bad shit happened. Like, Benny's character got, like, beat to shit. And we totally lost any advantage that we had in the situation. Like, they found our focus. They broke into my hideaway and found the fucking totem, so we had no leverage. But we were still able to, like, be like, hey, here's some information. If you want it, maybe we guys can help you out in exchange for you not being on our fucking street.
Yep, so when we left off, and this is just going to be out there in the open for if and when we ever get back into it, the Anarch coterie and these werewolves are going to team up and fight the Chimeria.
Woo, baby!
Which the whole thing between the Anarchs and the Chimeria is like, the Chimeria is like the Volturi from Twilight.
If you get to make fun of me for making a Naruto reference, well, 2 Naruto references, I get to make fun of you for making a Twilight reference.
You could, yeah.
You nerd. So, is it about break time?
Yeah, because we haven't started playing Kylen.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. But we can save that because I, like, definitely have to pee.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't started playing Kylen. We barely started making characters. Like, I know what you and Ethan are playing, but we will be right back. It's the spoopy episode, so I think we need to do some, like, spooky, scary skeletons.
Yeah. It's just a shit ton of them. It's the skeleton war. We gotta stock up. skeletons everywhere, all over the screen. Nothing but skeletons.
There we go.
Time to bone down.
Ooh, we're going to the bone zone. All right, guys. Back.
Burb. Welcome back to our spooky, ooky, kooky, dooky episode of Let's Talk About It.
Let's talk about it. So this is a spooky dooky episode, and we need to talk about spooky dooky games.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I have not run very many spooky games. I've run Curse of Strahd, and I've curd Vampire the Masquerade. I've ran Vampire the Masquerade, but I don't feel like either of those games were particularly like horrible beyond the source material or that was given to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just felt like we had a good time playing those.
Yeah. I would say Curse of Strahd was definitely horror light. I mean, like, there's a sense of hopelessness about Curse of Strahd, but I don't think it gets into areas of like fear or grotesque horror. I think with Vampire the Masquerade, there are elements of it that are not quite horror, but enough to give you some sort of sense of discomfort. But that might be because some of the source material is but also because vampire lore is kind of like in general, because it can be very non-consensual, you know?
Yeah.
But that's not exactly like horror, I would say.
That's it. You have had a very recent spooky experience in TTRPGs.
So my recent spooky kooky dooky ooky experience was playing in some Call of Cthulhu. So my fiance EJ the Grey is running West Marches style Call of Cthulhu campaign, which those of you who aren't familiar, West Marches means that the party makeup is not set in stone. You basically have a large group of people, and basically whoever can get together to form like a 4-person adventuring party. That's the session. So our I guess our story element is that we are all a part of an agency that's meant to investigate perhaps weird supernatural occurrences. It's set in the 1920s in the fictional town of Arkham, Massachusetts. And I finally got to play in my first session last Sunday. I got to play with friends of the channel, Arsqueef, Lizmac, and Pullout King. Beep, beep, beep.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yes, boop beeps all around. And the whole premise of the adventure is we were hired by a banker to locate his missing son. We figure out the last place he was seen or heard from was at this motel by a lake. Upon investigating the hotel, in typical, I guess, like Cthulhu-based adventure plot progression, it starts off a little weird, and then it just gets weirder until, oh shit, bad shit is happening. This motel's really weird. They're like, oh, we haven't seen him here, but tenants are like, oh yeah, he was definitely here. There are scratch marks on the floor, a fingernail. The lake is super weird. There's signs of altercations and struggle in the woods. People just randomly walking out into the woods. Then we fucking go and explore the shed at night where some gray people are being kept, and then we got fucking caught by the people who owned this inn, got fucking tied up, led to this lake where a giant fucking lake monster comes out and is about to fucking like eat us, but we rolled high enough to escape, luckily.
You ran away from Gordy?
We ran away from Gordy. And then fucking my character, AQ's character, went to sleep while the other two characters stayed up, and we had fucking dreams of like a city underwater and bloated corpses and terrible eldritch mess. But we got fucking paid, and that's what happened on Call of Cthulhu.
Okay, but like Ethan didn't have to steal Albus's whole thing first.
Albus, get out of that fucking lake. Stop trying to eat people. But yeah, so I guess Call of Cthulhu is one of the only game systems I've played in that really has that true horror element built in. And not just any horror, eldritch horror, slow burn horror, where you know something is up, but like it's like it goes very slowly at first until like shit hits the fan suddenly. And then it's just really bad from there on out. But luckily, you know, I play with my friends and loved ones. So we approach kind of the scary things about horror in like a safe way.
Yeah.
So like we know what all of our boundaries are. And I suggest that if you're playing people you don't know as well, or maybe people you do know well, you should talk about what you're comfortable with and not comfortable with. Set up your lines and veils.
Yeah, please talk about anything that you're that you know your table might be uncomfortable with. Even we did mention Vampire the Masquerade, which is known for being a horror-ish game with a lot of uncomfortable things in its source material. The very first page of that says this is a game about monsters, but that doesn't give you an excuse to be one.
Like, true.
Use safety tools. Like, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Don't traumatize people at your table. But like I said, I haven't run very many horror games, and I honestly don't know how I would go about that, because you know I just like running games. I just like doing stuff.
Well, I haven't run any sort of horror games, but as someone who might be biased in certain ways, because I don't know if this is especially common knowledge, but this is common knowledge among my friends, is that I'm a huge weenie. I love Halloween spooky season, but I don't like actual horror. I don't like anything with jump scares or anything that's like super scary, traumatizing, because I get scared really easily and it's not enjoyable for me. So I like, you know, my creepy stuff to be light in terms of horror. So for me, safety tools are especially important because I do get scared really easily when it comes to horror. And I think something that, you know, something that you should employ when you run these types of games is just open communication. And as a DM, I think it's especially important to like almost be like a reassuring person in times where it can get kind of tense and close to uncomfortable. Like, for example, you know, to like calm myself out a little bit, whenever we got fucking tied up and kidnapped by like these weird gray people, I was like to Ethan, is there any way we can get out of this? I'm getting really like anxious right now because it feels like to me we're about to be like, fucking Albus food. And Ethan, as a DM, was kind enough to be, yeah, there is a way you can get out of this. So, like, I think, I don't think it's fucking, like, it doesn't ruin the narrative to just, like, as a DM in meta be like, hey, it's okay. You're not doomed. You can get out of this situation. Or conversely, as the DM to be like, if you continue this course of action, your character will die. There will be negative consequences. I think it's okay in those instances where if your player asks for it, or, you've talked about boundaries ahead of time, to just be like, hey, word of advice, that way to keep everyone comfortable. But like I said, my tolerance for spook and horror is very low, so I kind of set those boundaries ahead of time. But my DM is my fiance, so he knows me very well. But I know a lot of people out there might be like, oh, no, that's no fun. That's ruining all of it. But, to that I say, hey, fuck you. I still enjoy those elements, but I like having a little safety net too, because I get really anxious. So, I think safety nets should be included in horror games.
So, one of the games that we sort of mentioned, one that we haven't started playing yet, is going to be our Descent into Avernus game.
Yeah.
Where you're literally going through hell.
Hell.
And you start reading the module and it's just like, oh, well, yeah, you just remember like hell, this is hell. Everybody's like miserable. It's supposed to be hopeless. It's horrible. But like, they don't give you very many ways to like, I've only just started reading the module to like try to do my conversions of it, but like, it doesn't seem like they give ways to do it. They're just like, hey, make sure you keep reminding players like this is a horrible place. But I don't have a lot of tools in my pocket to do that. One thing I was thinking about doing, since like this is our Exandria conversion, so
have you talked about that in depth on here?
Nope.
Do you want to talk about it?
We're running Descent into Avernus in Exandria.
Yeah, baby.
But like, you don't have to change any of the Avernus stuff. It's just like Baldur's Gate and Elturel that you have to swap out.
Is that all you want to say for now?
Yes, that's all I want to say for now.
Okay, can't talk about that anymore.
Iman Dragon Heist is available for $1 on my Patreon if you want a lore-friendly Waterdeep Dragon Heist conversion. Kymel might be something similar.
Chill.
Because this is Exandria, Critical Role, one thing I was thinking about using is the corruption rules that Matt put out.
Mm-hmm.
That said, there are also other things happening in hell that might stack with that, but I don't know. I'm just thinking about like, hey, ways to put in like corruption and badness. Things worse than bleeding scabs reaching toward the sky.
Sir?
What?
Sir?
Things worse than winged horned flesh golems riding on motorcycles with night hags.
Oh, That's kind of badass, actually. Yeah, so you said you didn't really have a horror toolbox, so what's your game plan going in here?
Honestly, my game plan is to just like run a chill lo-fi hell experience.
Low chill-fi hell adventures to study and relax too.
Lo-fi hell adventures to study too. That's me. That's a Cyberwolf brand.
Ah, yes. I can't wait for Hellstep to be the next new music genre.
I think Hellstep is already a music genre.
Sober Connor, is it true? Sober Connor, tell me.
You'll have to listen to the VOD.
Fuck.
Or my Snapchats whenever I send them to you, whenever I edit the VOD.
Listen, I'm slowly acclimating to the sound of my own voice. One day I will listen to Latai. The only reason I
honestly, you and I need to get drunk and listen to Latai just like as a time capsule.
You know what? Actually, that's probably the only way I can consume Latai, because if I listen to it sober, I'm gonna get embarrassed because I'm drunk. But if I'm drunk, I'm gonna be like, oh, I relate to this bitch. Oh, okay. Train is
and
going.
What's more horrible than being drunk? Being sober.
The mortifying ordeal of being known.
I feel seen.
Oh, you know another horror game I played in?
Yeah.
I played in fucking...
Zombies.
Yeah, I played in a zombie game. I honestly forgot the name of the system. I'm so bad. I think it was called like End of the World Zombie, maybe the title of the show is Quarantine. I don't remember, but basically it's all about zombies, which, you know, zombies as a horror genre is pretty gruesome. Because zombies' whole things is they like fucking eat people. And the people they eat come back as zombies. And it's a very hopeless situation. Because, you know, once there's a big old zombie outbreak, there's really not much you can do about it in most zombie genres. So there's that sense of hopelessness on top of gross, visceral horror. Which, again, I'm a big old wiener. So, my character in that game, because for that game, which was run on Pro Restarter's channel, friend of the channel, we based all of our characters off of our, like, somewhat our real life versions of ourselves. So I was playing Kylen in the game. But I played a version of Kylen that really tapped into that element of me who is really scared of this kind of shit. Because, let's be honest, I'm the first person to say I am not the person in the zombie apocalypse who would survive. I am not the hoarder, camper, all of a sudden get the gun, chainsaw, crossbow, whatever, and be a badass. No, I have no physical abilities. I get really scared. A bitch is gonna die. Like, let's just be honest, you know? So I played that version of myself, the version of me who is really scared and doesn't want to kill people and definitely doesn't have the physical attributes to go against zombies. I mean, I had like intelligence and resourcefulness out the wazoo, but like I don't think I hurt anyone even once in that game, because in that system it's a D6 system. And the closer to 6, the better your skill is. And all of my physical attributes were at a 1.
Whoa.
So I had to roll a 1 on the dice to be any sort of successful, and I never did. But, you know, like all of my intelligence stats were at like a 4. So I was doing pretty well for myself. So like there were like elements of horror in that game, and kind of that grotesque body horror that comes with zombies and that sense of hopelessness. But I never got in a situation where I felt too scared. There were some situations where my heart was actually like racing IRL, because sometimes games do that to you, especially if they got scary elements that make you anxious, you know? And sometimes getting into situations where you're fighting off zombies can be pretty anxious, anxiety inducing. But I never felt in any like real danger or felt really scared, because once again, there were safety tools established prior to going into the game to where, hey, here are topics we're not going to cover, or here are topics to where, you know, you can cut it close, but don't go too far over, because I'm not super comfortable talking about this. And of course, you know, there's breaks and stuff to kind of like, relieve some of the tension of being in that moment, and kind of debriefing and talking about things after each session to just check in and be like, hey, you good? Yeah, I'm good. So I was able to have like a really enjoyable experience in that game and get to explore like those horror elements and what it's like to be like an innocent person corrupted by elements of horror and survival and stuff. And like, you know, me as a weenie still have fun with that and not be too scared, which to me I consider a success, because like I said, the horror genre is not something I generally engage in. Even though there's like elements of it I find interesting, I find in like lots of traditional media like movies and video games, like there's no way for me to really control how scary something is. So that's what I really like about tabletop games, is that like, hey, there are people there that you can interact with and be like, whoop, whoop, no, a little too scary, can we dial it back? So it makes the genre more accessible to me, which I like.
Yeah.
So that's my advice this holiday season. Do spooky things, play spooky games, but make sure that your friends that get spooked a little more easily can be included if they want to be included, and talk about how to approach the spooky in a way that is fun and safe for everyone. And I know the fucking neckbeards out there are gonna be like, the moon is ruining the game, to which I say, eat my entire asshole.
You heard it here first, folks.
But yeah, anything else that you would like to add on this topic?
There is one horror system that I have seen that no matter what game you're playing, always adds a great bit of anxiety and horror to the game just by its very own like nature, and that's Dread. I've never played a game of Dread, but I have the rulebook and I have a Jenga tower.
Same here. And you know why? It's just so fucking hard to play Dread over like the internet.
Yeah, you can't play Dread over the internet.
There is a way that you can do it with like a dice rolling system, but honestly, it doesn't replicate just like the sheer
tension of pulling blocks out of a Jenga tower.
Yeah, exactly.
Knowing that if it falls over, somebody's dying.
For real.
Like,
but yeah, Dread.
Those Geek and Sundry shows were phenomenal.
Oh my god. And you remember when we were at Gen Con and we saw it live?
We did. I still have the block from the tower.
Me too.
The signed block.
Me too. Oh, that to me is just like the perfect level of like anxiety inducing. Like to me, all the anxiety just comes from like the actual like tactile aspect of pulling the Jenga block. And to me, that is just like, okay, this is a good amount. You know, it's not too scary. It's nerve-wracking, but it's not too scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what's great about Dread is typically you're not going to be carrying that over from week to week, because Dread is only meant to last one game.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Because how can you make a Jenga tower survive for that long?
Maybe like surviving multiple Jenga towers. Has anybody done multiple sessions of Dread? Like, comment, and subscribe if you dread on the reg.
Ring that motherfucking spooky bell.
Ooh, for who the bell tolls, it tolls for me.
I mean, I know Geek and Sundry did like multiple episodes, but then again, I think it was all one sit down session.
It was definitely filmed over one night. They did do like mini episodes in the second season in Madness, where like they had little towers, and then they moved into another room. They had another tower or another scene or another puzzle.
Fuck, I miss those shows. I wish so badly that Geek and Sundry would like bring those back.
I don't even think they're on YouTube right now.
They were so good. Like the production value on them was just like phenomenal, which bless Marisha Ray.
Bless Marisha Ray.
Who was creative director at that time and whose influence was heavy on that, because the production value was so good. But yeah, no, I don't know what it would be like to play a game of Dread. Like, I would be down for it. But, like, I really love watching other people play Dread, too. So, I don't know. Like, would the Dread be too dreadful? I'm not sure.
I would love to run Dread, but I don't think I'd be very good at it, because I don't feel like I'm a very good horror narrator. I'm a very chill, relaxed person.
Yeah,
I'm not a chill, relaxed person, but I'm a very chill, relaxed GM.
What constitutes being like good at horror games?
I don't know. Ivan Van Norman. Being Ivan Van Norman.
Being Ivan Van Norman, a very realistic step that all of us can take. Let me just pluck a strand of his curly hair, put it in my cloning machine, and whoop, I got my Ivan Van Norman skin. Here I go.
There you go.
Let me zip myself up. Okay, I'm Ivan Van Norman now. I can run a horror game. But since that might not be feasible for us all, I mean, like, what does it take, you know?
What does it take? Do you have any tip? Do you, our dear listeners, have any tips for running horror games or establishing horror atmospheres in your TTRPGs? Please comment. Leave us a comment. We'll actually read them and
also
figure it out.
Like and subscribe.
I love my like and subscribers.
Awoo.
Awoo.
I mean, I certainly don't have experience, but like from what I've seen, like,
that's a new t-shirt design, by the way. I love my like and subscribers.
Woo. But yeah, no, like from what I've seen, like I think like the power that like language has, you know what I mean? Like being able to like describe the scenes and like setting things up in a way that like creates an element of suspense. Like there's a certain storytelling aspect to horror games that is like so crucial. Like, I mean, it's important, you know, in like other games, like let's say you're playing D&D to like maybe, you know, narrate a scene or a triumphant final blow in a battle. Like that's all well and good, but like for the buy-in for horror, I feel like it's really like crucial that the DM is able to like set it up. Like it's very much DM driven, which in other genres of games, there's more player influence.
Mm-hmm.
But in like horror, the players kind of take a back seat and go along for the wild ride, because if the players exert any sort of control, then there's less, it's less scary. And like an element of fear is like you don't have any control about what's going to happen, So I think that's a really big element, like setting up scenes, narrating scenes, and controlling pretty much everything that goes on. Like I think it seems a lot more DM intensive than other types of games, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And boy, does nothing scare me more than a game that I have to be intensive in.
Just think about how much planning to go into that, Connor. Does that terrify you?
All the prep work.
The true horror, prepping.
Yeah, but honestly, what's more horrible for a player than having to go through a game where they don't have any agency?
That's true. So that's why I think there needs to be like
a fine balance.
Yeah, like I think in horror games you do give up more agency than in other types of games, but like I've touched on before, I think there needs to be some sort of like almost like an escape button, like a little too scary, let's dial it back.
Mm-hmm.
To where like you don't feel like as a player totally out of control. Like as your character, I think it's good to feel that way. But like as the human being behind the character, you need to have agency.
Yeah.
Like I'm much more willing to like, sure, you can have bad shit happen to my character, and I'm gonna feel like more detached than I would in any other type of game. But like me as a person, let me feel okay. Let me feel like that I can come out of this safely. Oh, it's an empty lady bed. And there's a mic, there's a chair. Oh, there's a paw.
Okay, she got up, but lady had her like tongue out.
She looked like the emote. She was like blep.
Did a little blab. She was doing a big old schnoozle on girl.
Oh, it was a good girl.
She's a good girl. Not a scary girl at all, even though she terrifies some small children and adults.
Do you think it's because maybe she kind of looks like a dingo, and dingoes eat babies?
I just think that in other cultures, big German Shepherd dogs are quite terrifying.
Yeah.
Because, if you see a big German Shepherd that's like looking intensely at you, like it's a little intimidating.
But lady's so sweet.
The lady is so sweet.
She's a real good girl.
She is a good girl. Any other thoughts on horror?
That about sums it up for me.
No horror can survive contact with a bard.
Bard's gonna fuck it.
Bard's gonna fuck it.
Eldritch horror? Gonna fuck it.
Eldritch horror? You mean hentai?
Hate that.
All right. Well, we talked a lot about horror. Maybe some of it was helpful. You be the judge of that. Like and subscribe if this was helpful. Like and subscribe if it wasn't.
And please send all hate mail to DonaldTrump@gmail.com. Can we keep that? Is that allowed?
Yeah. Look, at this point, it's old news.
All right. So yeah, thanks for joining us for this almost Halloween episode of the Latai. Make sure you eat lots of Halloween candy and get into some tricks or some treats.
Although in this household, we are definitely pro treat.
I do love me some treats, as does Lady.
As does Lady. And probably Bax.
Bax is a slut for them treats.
Tubby Wumpus.
Big old fungus for the treats.
All right, guys. Y'all have a safe and happy Halloween if that is something you celebrate. But, be spoopy responsibly. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
好人买啊，也是分也一。